Hey there, it's your boy Blue here at Blueberry's Games, and today's video will be my upgrade guide for the Bloomburrow Peace Offering Commander precon. I want to first take a moment to ask for your help in supporting my channel. The easiest and cheapest ways to show your support are by liking my videos, subscribing to the channel if you haven't yet, sharing any of my content on your socials, and or by watching some of my many other videos that I've created over the years. Additionally, you can support the channel by purchasing Super Thanks, channel memberships, decks that you may have seen on the channel directly from me on the Blueberry's Games Facebook page, and or visiting our sponsor, Arcane Fortress, by using the link that just popped up at the top of your screen and purchasing any of their amazing gaming supplies from them. By using that link specifically, you should receive a 5% discount store-wide. And finally, the last thing you can possibly do to help the channel out is through donations of extra cards that you may have just lying around. Even your bulkiest of bulk will help immensely, so if you'd like to donate to the channel, please message me on the Blueberry's Games Facebook page or email me at blueberriesgames@gmail.com and we can discuss the logistics of how. Anything you can do to help support my small channel is greatly appreciated, and I thank you for it. Now with that out of the way, let's begin. For my guides, I start by showing you the cards that I would recommend removing first. Then I show you the cards that I would add back in that I believe will help make the deck either more fun to play a little better, or hopefully both. So this was a tough one. As I stated in the unboxing video yesterday, Group Hug is my least favorite strategy to play in Commander. On top of that, I didn't really find ms.bumbleflower to be that good of an option for the theme, because giving your opponent's cards can be a really bad thing to do. After quite a bit of looking at different cards, I came up with some things that would generally help the deck, advance this weird aspect of the deck that likes when you draw 2 cards, and found ways to make it possible to cast 2 spells on every player's turn more consistently. I also found cards that help create creature tokens for doing these things that can be used both offensively and defensively, that may actually give you a win con, that you can argue is really just for protection so you don't become a target too quickly. The deck will still have a group hug feel since I'm keeping Ms. Bumbleflower as the commander, but it won't be as group hug as a build like, say, Feldegriff is. I believe I got the assignment right, so let's get this started, and I'll begin by showing you what I would take out first. I would remove Exotic Orchard, Temple of Enlightenment, Temple of Plenty, Temple of Mystery, Sky Cloud Expanse, Sungrass Prairie, Overflowing Basin, Coveted Jewel, 20-Toed Toad, Bloodroot Apothecary, Quain Itinerant Meddler, Coiling Oracle, Selvala Explorer Returned, mr.foxglove, Peerless Recycling, Simic Ascendancy, Communal Brewing, Rites of Flourishing, Martial Impetus, and Garipur Orrery. That's 20 cards in total that I recommend removing. I'm going to upgrade the lands slightly, and I removed a couple of the I Win cards that couldn't be explained as needed for other reasons. I also removed the one card that had a poison counter aspect to it, because it just didn't make sense here. The rest of the removals were subpar cards that just didn't really help the deck much, and the cards I'm about to show you will do much more to help advance the strategy and even possibly help you actually win eventually. So you know the game plan and what cards I would remove. Now let me show you which cards I would add back in that I believe would help improve how this deck plays. To start things off, I'll recommend a few lands that, as I said, are slight upgrades to the temples and filter lands that I removed. The first 3 lands are Dreamroot Cascade, Overgrown Farmland, and Deserted Beach. There's nothing special here. They just simply have the ability to come into play untapped, and that's really all that you need. The 4th land, however, is for utility. That land is called Alchemist's Refuge. Truth be told, I'm a little confused as to why this wasn't included in the box. An activated ability that gives all of your spells flash for the turn means that on at least one of your opponent's turns, you can take advantage of Ms. Bumbleflower's ability. WotC didn't put much in the deck that could do this, so this should help you get that draw 2 cards part of her ability on another player's turn at least once a rotation. The next section of cards that I want to show you are the creatures. There are 5 in total, and 3 of them have similar abilities. The first creature is White Mane Lion. This addition is to help facilitate the ability to cast 2 spells on every player's turn to ensure you get to draw 2 cards from Ms. Bumbleflower as often as possible. It has flash, so you can cast it on any player's turn. It only costs 2 mana, so it's relatively cheap. And it has a built-in bounce ETB where you can just choose itself as the target, ensuring you always have it in your hand to cast over and over. It's pretty much the perfect creature for what this build is trying to do. The second creature is Scrawling Crawler. Generally speaking, people like drawing cards. This gives each player a shiny new card on each of your upkeeps. Your job is to convince them that 1 life is a small price to pay for drawing a card. This deck does need some politics and bargaining to be played correctly after all. And the last 3 creatures are the ones that have similar abilities. They are Mischievous Mystic, Ethereal Investigator, and Alondra Skydreamer. As you can see, all of them have an ability that says you create a creature token whenever you draw your second card in a turn. I wanted to take advantage of the fact that Ms. Bumbleflower's ability has a way for you to draw exactly 2 cards on any player's turn, especially since that's sort of the focus of the deck besides just Group Hug. I chose these 3 specifically because the tokens that they create all have flying. That's important both for offensive and defensive purposes. You want to be able to block all incoming attacks, but you also want to be able to attack when the time is right, and flying is one of the more evasive abilities. Moving on, now I want to show you 6 instances that I believe will help you be able to constantly cast 2 spells on each player's turn. They are Recruit the Worthy, Whispers of the Muse, Allay, Sprout Swarm, Capsize, and Forbid. The common theme here is that they all have buyback. I didn't choose just any instant with buyback though. I chose these 6 because they could actually have an impact on your game plan. For instance, 1 is card draw, which is very helpful. 2 of them create creature tokens, which is kind of a sub-theme here, and 3 of them are removal, which is always helpful. None of that is wasteful, and if you somehow found a way to create infinite mana, half of them could help you win the game. Don't worry, I'll talk about that in a few moments. The last section of cards that I want to go over before talking about a combo I like are 3 enchantments that sort of do similar things that I believe are much needed utility for this build. The first enchantment is called Druid Class. This does a couple of things for you. The life gain can help keep you alive long enough to set up a possible win. The fact that it's such a low amount of life gain means it shouldn't cause too much suspicion, and it could add up more than people will suspect. Level 2 is the important part here though. If your game plan is working, you should have an excess amount of land stuck in your hand. Adding an additional land drop should help clear that out for you. The thought process here is that I remove the cards that give everyone extra land drops. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't have extra land drops though. Just because you're giving your opponents extra cards doesn't mean you have to help them play extra lands so they can cast those extra spells. The same theory is also true for case of the locked hothouse. This will give you yet another land drop during your turn, only that's the least important portion of this card. Solving the case, which shouldn't be hard, now allows you to cast creatures and enchantments from the top of your library. When combined with Alchemist's Refuge, casting 2 spells on other players' turns should get much easier with both of them in play. And the last enchantment is called On the Trail. This follows the same theory as the other 2 enchantments, but does it in a much different and an arguably much better way. The secondary theme of this deck after Group Hug is casting 2 spells a turn, so you can draw 2 cards off of Ms. Bumbleflower. This allows you to just put a land into play from your hand when you do this, even if it's on another player's turn. Truth be told, this was my budget way of including a burgeoning type of effect in the deck without the hefty price tag. Now this is where things get fun. The combo I'm about to recommend is an oldie but goodie that I've recommended multiple times before, but it's just so good and versatile that I can't help myself. Its nickname is Isorev, and uses an Isochron Scepter imprinted with Dramatic Reversal. To get this combo to work, you will also need artifacts and/or creatures in play that can create at least 2 mana. The easiest way currently to accomplish this is if you have a Soul Ring in play, but there are plenty of other cards that come in the box that can help accomplish this as well. If you don't know how this combo works, don't worry. Check the link at the top of your screen. Normally when I suggest this combo, it's for infinite mana. And while that is useful here as I mentioned earlier, that's actually not the reason I'm recommending it. There are two much more important reasons for this that pertain specifically to this build. First, when you use Isochron Scepter's activated ability, the copy gets cast, so this counts towards the amount of spells that you've cast for the turn. This means that you can guarantee casting 2 spells on every player's turn, and it costs you nothing. The second reason is actually really funny, and it provides you with an instant way to win if you have Ms. Bumbleflower on the battlefield. Since you can cast an infinite number of dramatic reversals for free, you end up triggering Ms. Bumbleflower, forcing all of your opponents to draw cards until they lose. I don't know about you, but I find that to be a pretty funny way to win. I'm not gonna lie, I was really tempted to change this entire deck into a combo deck with nothing but stacks pieces and ways to find this combo, but I don't think it would have been very budget friendly. And that, my fellow spellslingers, is my upgrade guide for the Bloomburrow Peace Offering Commander precon. While everything that I just showed you won't make this precon a top tier deck, it should make it much more fun to play and even possibly give you a chance to win now. While I do not like Group Hug very much, I was able to find a way to make this deck palatable to play even for me. That combo I showed you was the tipping point for me when I realized you could use it to win with Ms. Bumbleflower in an unconventional way. For all 20 cards, at the time of filming, it would cost roughly $40 to make all of the changes, which is actually quite good considering cards like Burgeoning cost almost that much alone. I'm not sure what it would cost to turn this into the combo deck that I mentioned moments ago, but I'm curious enough about it that I may actually give it a try. If I do, I will absolutely be making a video about it so you can see the results. I think it would be an interesting build for sure. So, what do you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts on all the changes that I just went over in the comments. Well, my friends, that's all I've got for you this week. Thanks for watching, but if you're looking for more Magic-related content to watch, please browse through my channel as I'm sure you'll find more of my videos that you'd enjoy. Before you go, though, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. This will notify you when I release new content, which I do every Friday, sometimes on Saturdays, and now occasionally on Mondays. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you all very soon.